Jaguar E-Pace Audit, Jag's little diesel SUV driven. A Jaguar E-Pace, is that only a littler F-Pace? Basically yes, despite the fact that the E-Pace sits on the Range Rover Sport, Evoque stage as opposed to a bespoke Jaguar skeleton. So it's entirely substantial, relying upon spec, the same as the greater F, in spite of being a reasonable piece littler. Jaguar playfully alludes to it as the whelp to the F-Pace, and you can see the connection quickly. There's the natural Jaguar wide grille and limited surfacing, however it appears to be somewhat thick-set from specific edges. Peculiarly, on the off chance that you put your hand over the base portion of the auto, it looks beautiful on top, stunning window line and all, yet then the base influences it to look somewhat tubbier. It's not the most striking or energizing of Jaguar's item, however it's to a great extent harmless. Absolutely no more awful than most littler SUVs. In the base corner of the windscreen is a little outline of a mummy Jaguar and a little fledgling after a long. I very loved that, yet at that point, I'm somewhat miserable. So what's it for? All things considered, it's Jaguar's littlest SUV. So a 5-seater with a better-than-average boot and a fullish set of ingenium 2.0-liter turbo 4-barrel motors. There's diesel, 148 bhp, 178 bhp or 238 bhp, or oil, 246 bhp, 297 bhp. You can get front drive just on the base models, with a 6-speed manual, straight up to a couple of various AWD alternatives mated to a 9-speed auto at the best, every one of them front one-sided until the point when you begin to slip. That is a 28,500 pounds to 50,170 pounds spread, in 4 trims, E-Pace, S, SE and HSE, with 2 body styles, E-Pace and R Dynamic. One except that the very finishes of that scale may be unicorns however. A Porsche Macan S with 340 bhp records someplace at 48,287 pounds. I'll simply leave that there. Does it feel little? Littler than a F-Pace, yes. Inside, there's a lot of room for 5, however the back seats endure somewhat with that kicked-up raised window line, and a lot of astute stockpiling and general gubbins. The inside is commonplace Jaguar unit, pleasantly ergonomic and perfect and clean, in spite of the fact that the sat-nav did glitch and back off a bit amid our test drive. You'll perceive a ton of it from the Jaguar parts canister, yet that is no issue by any stretch of the imagination. What's more, the view is the thing that you anticipate from a SUV. You get reward sightlines from the charged driving position, and it fits where a F-Pace wouldn't. Is it more coordinated, at that point? It has a helpful line in being moderately nippy. The transmission on the autos we drove were all-wheel drive, and they appear to be sufficiently sharp. Body control is great, it positively doesn't slump about, and there's sufficient straightforwardness to the directing to keep the auto put precisely notwithstanding while jogging along at a reasonable pace. It never truly feels exceptionally Jaguar-ish however, it'll push the nose genuinely hard before tucking in the back on the off chance that you remain on the power. Sheltered and secure, however not a big deal. Useful for a SUV, somewhat tasteless for a Jag. Which motor works best? Not the greatest toil, that is without a doubt. It's simply not suited to the auto, blasts a bit and never feels good being buckled down. Pottering, it's fine, however it never entirely gels with the 9-speed auto, influencing the gearbox to feel like it has 3 an excessive number of proportions to converse with. Indeed, it gets not far off quickly enough, yet honestly, not in a way that influences you to need to go for a drive only for giggles. Much better is the best spec diesel, with 238 bhp. It's 1 moment slower to 62 miles per hour than the huge petroleum, 7.4 seconds plays 6.4, yet it influences a reasonable piece more torque to let down, 368 pounds-foot versus 295, and the combo appears to align with the gearbox significantly more safely. You can push it along at respectable pace without recoiling. It likewise oversees 10 more mpg on the consolidated cycle, with an attendant 162 grams/km versus 181, so there's a valuable sparing there for not a lot of execution misfortune. The ride is comparably innocuous, it's not super ameliorating on the 20-inch wheels, but rather it can adapt. I don't know the discretionary 21s would be of awesome utilize, mine, however they do look rather great. Also, rough terrain. Shockingly, it's genuinely capable. Indeed, It'll be constrained by tires more than anything, yet the AWD framework is astute and valuable, and you'll have the capacity to totter around a field on the off chance that you truly need to. I don't know that is especially pertinent to the sort of individuals who purchase Jaguar SUVs, yet decent to know, regardless. Purchase, or deny? Not for me, I'm apprehensive. The E-Pace is a flawlessly decent auto, top-notch. Hands up, I'm not a major aficionado of SUVs when all is said and done, seeing as they're less great than a customary incubator home at basically everything with the exception of resembling an SUV. However, the E-Pace feels like an auto intended to profit and exploit a mainstream specialty. There's nothing amiss with that, you can't censure Jaguar for needing to make money, yet even in the organization's own range there are autos that interest more. Give me a XF Sport brake and I'll demonstrate to you what Jaguar is extremely prepared to do. On account of the E-Pace we've driven, the XF Sport brake is likewise 6,350 pounds less expensive in a similar spec. On the off chance that you stay persuaded you truly require a little, premium SUV, I'm anxious the Porsche Macan is as yet an additionally convincing case.